What's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluence is back in the building again, and y'all already know what type of time we finna be on tonight. We got some big news. Look, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. Look, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia is supposedly official. It's set. It's a done deal. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? No more if, ands, or but. No more speculation. No more, look, it might, this Ryan Garcia is scared. Or look, High Desert, stand up. Stand up, High Desert. You feel me? We took an L this past weekend. Salute to you, Dominic Reyes. It's all good. But all y'all talking that, look, I love Gervonta Davis. I love him. But all y'all talking that we're not 2 minutes in yet, so I can't curse. I got to wait for 2 minutes so the algorithm going to get messed up. But all that mess y'all was talking, Ryan Garcia is scared of Gervonta. He don't want the smoke. He an internet fighter. He a pretty boy. High Desert, stand up. We here. If we don't come in groves, y'all, if we don't come crazy with it, if we don't come with the respect, if we don't come with the support, we tripping, man. On everything. We got to stand up. It's time. I ain't got nothing but look. Y'all can't talk no more of that mess. All that stuff, all the speculation, all the things y'all was saying Ryan Garcia ain't have no chance against Gervonta Davis. We finna find out. But with that being said, family, with that being the case, man, we got a topic at here. We all gonna be talking about it. Hopefully, man, y'all end up coming through here because I want to know what y'all think about this too. I need to know. I need to know how y'all feeling. So if y'all end up coming up in here later, y'all already know I'm gonna be dropping the link. Y'all can hop up in here if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually encouraging it. So just wait for that. Wait till I drop the link so y'all can get up in here. If y'all got things to say, you can say it. Also, this too. Drop whatever y'all feeling in the comments. Like the video. If y'all come up in here, subscribe to the channel. If you're not part of the Black Goose TV family members, hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. Notification game, so you know every time I'm going live, every time I'm dropping content. I'm back on regular programming, scheduling, however you want to say it. I'm done with my sickness. So we coming with the content like crazy when it comes here, Black Goose TV family. So make sure y'all got that notification set up and ready to go because I'm going to be dropping all types of content. All right. So, and then, also, y'all go check out the Twitch. I'm going to be doing a lot more on the Twitch, Fluencetv. So y'all look out for that. I feel bad. I feel like I'm like so behind when it comes to Twitch because I just never used it, like that or in excess like I'm doing now. So, but y'all go check out the Twitch, Fluencetv. I'm going to be adding a lot of content over there too. Man, we slowly growing. We slowly showing. We slowly doing what we doing. You already know what it is. But let's get into it, baby. We passed the 2-minute mark. We here. So let's go ahead and talk that talk, man. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis is supposedly official for April 15th. That's what they saying. Now, I'm going to ask you guys this. Do you believe it is the first question? It's hard to say you don't believe it, you know what I'm saying, specifically because you see that it's being reported basically from every outlet. Like, you got to think about this because so let me put this kind of like in perspective, right? When it came to Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, I was one of those guys that was constantly saying that fight's not going to happen. I don't believe the fight's going to happen. There's no way the fight's going to actually take place. I was like, I need to see it. I need to see them walking down to the ring, getting in the ring, ready to go. That's the only way I believe that fight happened, especially in the time frame they were trying to state it was going to happen. And not only could I say that with confidence, but the main reason I was saying with confidence because that fight wasn't necessarily being reported by some of the more trustworthy reporters or news boxing news channels or internet sites, whatever case you want to call it. It wasn't being reported. A lot of it was just speculation, and a lot of the sites that were reporting, a lot of people that were saying it's like, well, you've been wrong about a lot of things before. I don't know if I want to believe that. So for me, I stood by the fact that Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence was not going to happen in the time frame that they said it was going to happen, right? And as of now, I've been proven true. Now, when it comes to this particular fight, do I believe it's going to happen? Do I have faith in it? Well, obviously, I have much more faith in this because of who is reporting that this fight is official and it's set, right? The people who's reporting it, very credible sources, very credible sources. Now, does that mean I am 100% sure or 100% like, yes, this fight I do plan and assume to be sitting down and watching it on April 15th, right? Do it. I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. I'm going to give you guys some reasons why, right? I'm as much as I'm excited for this fight, I want to be the guy who's the realist. I want to be the guy who brings kind of everybody down, back down to level, or to ground level, right? Because right now, you know what I'm saying, we heard the news, we were excited about it, everyone's going crazy, it's official. We see from Ryan Garcia's side, he said the deal is done. Gervonta Davis says the deal is done. How does it stand up again? We're hearing everything, and everybody's reporting it. Everybody's so happy about it. Everybody's shunning Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. How could this fight happen? And Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence isn't happening. And blah, 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 right? And I'm gonna answer those questions as well. There's a very distinct difference between a Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence happening and a Gervonta Davis and a Garcia happening, right? There's a distinct difference, but we're not going to get into that yet. What I do want to get into is how confident am I in the fact that this fight will happen? Well, if I were to go on a percentage base, we're going to go out at 100%. And I was going on a percentage base, I would say I am 77% confident that this fight will be sitting down watching this, supposedly on April 15th is the targeted date. They say it's official. They say it's good to go, all that good stuff. But I'm about 77%. That's a high rating for a fight like this. For a mega fight like this where it can, potentially derail one or the other's career, unless we have another Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder situation. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder is one of the few situations where obviously Deontay Wilder came out looking the worst of the two, taking some pretty bad losses, but still is looked at as a elite level heavyweight, regardless if he has a lot of people who don't like him, a lot of people who hate on him. You know what I'm saying? If you are a fan of boxing, you cannot deny that Deontay Wilder is number 2. He came out looking better after those 3 losses that he did going into the fight. Now, obviously, did he reach his ceiling of, popularity and people loving him? No, he would have reached that if he would have beat Fury. But only good things came from those losses, those 3 losses. Now, he went through a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, people not liking the excuses, etc. But at the end of the run, he came out looking better, even though he lost. So, in this particular situation with Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, you have a very young Ryan Garcia who, if he does loses to Davis, depending in what fashion, he can still rebound to an extent, because you can still say, oh, well, hey, he is young. He can continue to, 2-3 years from now, have some, amazing fights. And then people kind of forget, depending on what Gervonta Davis, there's more pressure on Gervonta Davis than there is on Ryan Garcia, in my personal opinion, right? And so because of that, that's one of the reasons why I'm 77%. So to put things in perspective, I'm loving using the words perspective tonight, man. Hopefully it helps you guys understand where I'm coming from. So to put things into perspective, my confidence level on Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence happening was 20%. So that just puts you guys in perspective. So I had no faith at all in Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence happening. As you can see, I do have some hope in in Ryan Garcia versus Davis happening. And the reason behind this is, like I said earlier, very credible sources reporting it. Now, why am I not 100% for this with these credible sources reporting that this fight is going to happen? Now, that's what we're going to get into, okay? And one of my main first points on why I'm just a little bit skeptical is a very obvious one, right? I got my phone in front of me, so I'm trying to get to the point where I'm trying to get to. But my main first point is pretty obvious. April 15th is not close, right? Ryan Garcia's last fight happened about a month, 2 months ago, something in that perspective, against Fortuna. And then obviously Gervonta Davis, his last fight was against Rolly Romero, which was even previous than that. That was earlier in the year. So both of these guys waiting until April to fight each other, one, that's a very long training camp. Two, it doesn't make any sense, because technically you would want both of them in a rhythm when they meet in the ring, so you can have the best possible outcome, right? So that would be my first, that's the first reason why I'm at 77% rather than in the 80s, is because April 15th, I do believe, this is the weird thing when it comes to boxing, right? You can sign a bout, but still have a fight prior to that. I'd be willing to bet, not a lot, probably like $10, but I'd be willing to bet that in the contracts that was signed, both of them have a warm-up fight included, right? Because it does not make any sense for them not to fight that long and then all of a sudden meet in the ring with arguably the best talent that they've ever stood across from on both sides, and then all of a sudden say this is just going to happen just so wonderfully. That's not how boxing works. So I'm like, in reality, I'll be willing to bet money, not a lot, once again, that there's a warm-up fight included in the clause, and we'll probably see both of them fight in the beginning of the year, just not against each other. And so that's why I'm at 77%. Okay, and so why am I saying this? If I can find the goddamn article. Here we go, right here. Boom, beautiful. Okay, so it's coming from Boxing News 24. Who should Gervonta Davis fight on January 7th in DC? It's like we forget so quickly, guys. We forget so quickly. I'm about to open this up in a new tab. And the only reason I'm not going to pull it up on the computer because my Wi-Fi hasn't been showing me too much love when I've been doing the share screen. So I only want to make sure I'm very specific when I use the share screen. I'm going to be pulling up the article on them actually talking about the fight taking place. So that's when I'm actually going to use it. Okay, guys. But right now, just, hear me out. So this is another reason. So my first point why I'm 77% on this fight happening is because obviously it's very far from the current date that we're at, right? We're in November, heading to December, and they're talking about an April fight, right? It's a very long time for both these guys not to fight, especially with them not fighting. Like Gervonta fought even previously. When did Gervonta last fight? Let me see. And Gary Antoine Russell was calling him out as well. Because we all know he fought Rolly, but when did he fight Rolly? It was early in the year, man. All right, they don't want to show me in this article. It's okay. I'm fine with that. But he fought Rolly earlier in the year. I think it was the first half of the year. And then obviously Ryan Garcia fought a little bit later. He fought in the summer against Fortuna. So that's my first reason. 77% why this fight is going to happen. I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen is because April 15th is very long from here. Okay. My second reason is because we were recently talking about who should Gervonta Davis fight on January 7th in DC. If you guys don't remember, Gervonta Davis had, I think he made a tweet or whatever the case, excuse me, maybe about a week and a half ago or something like that, basically saying, yo, I'm fighting on January 7th. I'll fight whoever I'm going to fight. So that's the first red flag for me. So I'm like, okay, Gervonta Davis was just talking about he has a fight lined up for January 7th. Or not a fight lined up for January 7th, but he's going to fight on January 7th. And he's looking for an opponent. And now all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis happening on April 15th, and it's a done deal, right? That's a little bit red flaggish for me. So I'm going to read a little bit of this for you guys. Gervonta Tank Davis hasn't said who he'll be fighting in his next fight on January 7th in Washington, D.C. If Tank is going to fight in D.C., the ideal opponent for him is Maryland native Gary Antoine Russell, who is arguably a far more talented fighter than the guys that he's been fighting during his career. Russell, 16-0, 16 KOs, the brother of former featherweight champion Gary Russell Jr. fights at 140, is one of the most talented in the division. Mayweather Promotions have been matching Gervonta softly his entire career, and they would need to be willing to take a risk by allowing him to face a talented fighter for a change like Gary Antoine. Showtime is making it easy for one matchup to make between him and Tank. In Russell's last fight against former two-division world champion Rances Bartholomew, he weighed in at 137 and is scoring a 6-round knockout last July. Russell can probably easily make 135 for a fight against Tank. Excuse me. And it would be a far more entertaining fight for the boxing public in the recent blowout victories. Unlike past Tank's opponents, Orlando, Rolly Romero, and Mario Barrios, Gary Antoine Russell can fight. Other options for Tank is also Hector Luis Garcia, Chris Colbert, Ryan Garcia, which we now know is supposedly a done deal for April 15th. So this was Gervonta Davis's Instagram, where basically he had posted January, DC with the smoke. ESPN Ringside retweeted it saying Tank has a date location in mind via Gervonta. So that's my second reason right there. Well, I'm 77%. I'm not 100% sure that this fight is going to happen. I'm just being honest with you guys. I want to be the rah-rah guy. I want to come on here. I want to be like, hey, gosh, we here. In the beginning, I said, hi, does it stand up? We here. Y'all got to stop disrespecting us. You feel me? Ryan Garcia is showing what it is, but April 15th is a long way away, and Gervonta Davis just put out a post saying he's fighting on January 7th. Now, what does this mean? Now, that doesn't mean the fight's not going to happen between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta. I'm going to bring up the article, by the way, so we can read the details, etc. on it. But just because he said, Gervonta, that he's going to fight on January 7th doesn't mean that the fight is not going to happen, right? That's not the case. That's not what I'm trying to state. That's not what I'm trying to put out there, right? What I'm trying to say is there is a possibility, depending on who Gervonta fights on January 7th, because I'm sure he's going to fight on January 7th. I'm also 90% sure that Ryan Garcia is probably going to have a fight before April 15th as well. But either of these fighters end up fighting is going to be a warm-up fight and is going to put them in a position to put them in rhythm, feel they're at the best, have a good training camp, get their confidence up. So when they do meet in April 15th, we have the best fight we can possibly have. Even with that being the case, there's still a possibility of a shocker. Well, who knows who they end up picking as the opponent, and one of them could possibly lose. So I can stand by me saying 77% chance this fight is going to happen, because there's still obstacles in the way for it to take place. But I do believe it is signed, and I will go to the article so we can specify this. What's good with the NBA? Young boy, High Desert. You already know, man. And just please, if there's anything I want anybody to take out of this, man, and I'm going to stand true to it, because, I'm already rocking with Ryan Garcia all the way through. Ain't no way he gonna lose this fight. But all that shit people was talking, because I'm saying I could talk that shit now. I'm saying we passed the 3-minute mark, whatever. All that shit people was talking on Ryan Garcia, I'm saying YouTube boxer, internet boxer, pretty boy, mental health issues, he's soft, all that type shit. All I know is my guy is 24 years old and he's taking on an absolute beast of a dog in Gervonta Davis. You feel me? I'm like, the only thing you can compare this to is what Devin Haney is doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing you can compare him to. And I'm like, I can argue that if Ryan Garcia beats Gervonta Davis, no, it's not as impressive as what Devin Haney is doing. But as far as people watching and changing their mind, it's going to be on that level. But see, this is the thing. This is why they do things like that. This is actually, this fight is similar in a sense to the Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu fight that's coming up. Like, when they announced Jermell Charlo versus Tim Tszyu, I was like, why is this fight so far away? Like, you can have injuries, long training camp. Like, what is the reasoning for this? As of right now, it seems intact. It seems like we are going to see this fight happen in January. I can't wait for that. But it's the same thing when it comes to this Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. April 15th is so far away. You know what I'm saying? It's nowhere near close. We just had Gervonta Davis tell the people, tell the world, I'm fighting on January 7th. Who wants to smoke? Acting like a deal was already done. So we know Gervonta Davis will be fighting on January 7th, at least his words, unless something changed dramatically. As far as Ryan Garcia, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have I do believe he will have a tune-up fight. It wouldn't make any sense not for him to have another fight in between Fortuna and supposedly next up. Obviously, we got Gervonta Davis at April 15th. He should have a fight himself probably around January, February himself. Who is going to be? That who knows? But so basically, those are my 3 big reasons. You know what I'm saying? I don't know when y'all got up in here, but I was basically starting this off and I was telling the people the reason why I'm 77% sure that this fight is going to happen and I'm not 100% sure are those 3 big reasons. Okay? Put things into perspective once again. I was 20% sure Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence was going to happen in the time frame that they said. This fight, I'm 77%. And I would love to be higher, but once again, run it through quickly as possible. The number one reason why I'm at 77% is because it's April 15th. It's very far away. The number 2 reason is because, as you guys can see, Gervonta Davis had recently said on his Instagram that he will be fighting on January 7th. He's already set, done, and deal. He's got to put an opponent in place. And then obviously my number 3 reason is I do believe both of these fighters will have a in-between fight. They're probably in their clause for them to have a warm-up fight. I think Gervonta Davis will be on that date I just said. We'll probably hear Ryan Garcia announce one as well. There's a possibility, even though it's probably going to be fights they will or should win, they could lose. So Those are my three reasons why I'm at 77%. I'm not 100% all the way in on this fight happening. But with that being said, 77% is still a high rate. And the reason it is a high rate, because to circle back to the beginning, credible sources are saying this fight has been finalized and there has been pen to paper. Credible sources. So me knowing that, me seeing these names that I constantly see whenever, breaking news has been reported, and it always comes through, it's like, okay, I can trust that this is in place, but obviously it's boxing. So, there's always going to be some stipulations that can possibly come in the way and make a hiccup. All right. So one of the main sources, one of the most credible sources that I always love to go to, myself. Y'all bear with me because I know in the very beginning it's going to act a fool a little bit. But it's going to be boxing. Do I want to keep it right here? Nah, I'll keep it. Keeping it right here for the people. Yeah. Make sure, by the way, if you guys come up in here, man, show me some love. Hit the like button for your boy. Hit the like button. If you're not part of the family, go ahead and subscribe. We 21 minutes in. You already know how we do, man. Once we get to the 45-minute mark, I'm going to be dropping the link. And if y'all want to come in here and y'all got some things to say, let loose. But as for now, now I'm going to go into the reasoning why I am so high on the percentage rate for this fight to possibly happen is because when I was talking about credible sources, BoxingScene.com is obviously, in my personal opinion, one of the most credible sources that we could be talking about. So we have some big announcements here. And obviously, we're going to get into other dynamics of this particular fight as well. Obviously we can do some speculation on who's going to win, etc., things like that. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I also want to talk about a little bit on the comparison of Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence not happening, and this fight happening, dynamics in that particular sense. But okay, let's go ahead and get into it. This is going to be coming from BoxingScene.com, and this is why I'm so high on the percentage. Boxing fans will get at least one of the big fights they won in 2023. Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia announced through their Instagram accounts Thursday that the representatives have completed a deal for the popular knockout artist to meet in a much-discussed showdown on a date to be determined in 2023. And as of now, we know it to be April 15th. Their 12-round fight, which will be contested at a catch weight of 136 pounds. That's interesting. So it's going to be a catch weight. So there's not going to be any belt on the line, even though at the same time, I don't think either one of them have a belt other than Gervonta, but it's WBA, I believe. I don't think either of them have a belt. Will be a Showtime pay-per-view main event from an underdetermined venue in Las Vegas. 136 is such a weird weight to agree on Ryan Garcia's side. He moved up to 140. Weird. I would think maybe whatever. Baltimore's Davis also confirmed on Twitter that he will fight January 7th. There we go. Against an opponent the unbeaten WBA World Lightweight Champion didn't name. So he will be fighting on January 7th. So that means we probably will see Ryan Garcia fight. It wouldn't make sense for Ryan Garcia to wait for this fight. He should get a fight himself. That fight also was expected to headline a Showtime pay-per-view event from a venue in Washington, D.C. This is the fight I want, and this is the fight boxing needs, Garcia stated in a press release. The hype, the storylines, the two athletes defining their sport inside the ring and out. I'm going to knock Tank out and take my place as the face of our incredible sport, and I'm bringing a new generation of boxing fans with me. I appreciate Tank volunteering to get beat so that I can get to work. High Desert, stand up. Determining the distribution rights in the U.S. prolonged the negotiations for several weeks, even after Davis, 27-0, 25 KOs, and Garcia, 23-0, 19 KOs, publicly expressed their desires to wrap up the deal. Showtime and DAZN ultimately reached a resolution to a much-needed agreement in the wake of the heavily hyped Terrence Crawford Errol Spence Jr. welterweight title falling apart last month. Showtime's broadcast and production teams will handle the Davis-Garcia telecast. The event also will be made available for purchase on DAZN, but it's not a joint pay-per-view venture. Now that's interesting. One of the biggest problems for Terrence Crawford, one of the biggest problems that Eddie Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya was saying about Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta happening was like, hey, what's the big deal about allowing us to, air it on DAZN? Why are you being so stingy? And apparently, they're like, hey, let's make it happen. That's still not clear to me necessarily how they're doing the broadcasting rights. It seems weird. Like it's available for purchase on DAZN, but it's not a joint pay-per-view venture. So does that mean that DAZN agreed to the fact that you can just air it on DAZN, but they won't make any money from the pay-per-view? That's what it seems like. I think it seems like Eddie Hearn and DAZN was okay with just saying like, hey, just allow it to air it. Allow us to broadcast it on DAZN, where if people want to subscribe, we're okay with just getting subscribers from it. We don't want anything as part as, the profit from the pay-per-view. That's what it seems like is coming off to me. But Showtime's, I'm gonna read it one more time. Showtime's broadcast and production teams will handle the Davis Garcia telecast. The event also will be made available for purchase on DAZN, but it's not a joint pay-per-view venture. Yeah, that's how it comes off to me. Showtime has televised Davis's last 11 bouts either live on that network or on pay-per-view. DAZN has streamed each of Garcia's past 7 fights. Davis, 28, and Garcia, 24, had hoped to square off January 7th, but at least Davis will have what is likely to amount to a tune-up bout before moving forward to the Garcia fight. That'll be so weird to me if Garcia doesn't take a fight in between there. That doesn't make sense to me. A month after he will fight January 7th, Davis is due in Baltimore courtroom February 16th for what figures to be a short trial related to the misdemeanor motor vehicle violations Davis allegedly committed in November 2020 in his hometown. Davis has been charged with 14 traffic violations stemming from a hit-and-run incident. The resolution of that case likely will determine the date for his fight against Garcia, assuming Davis wins January 7th, which as of now we do know the date is April 15th, or at least that's what they're targeting. So that is the details. I'm still a little skeptical. I don't know. Me reading that, if you want me to be 100 with you, I think I'm about 72% now. 72% this fight will happen. I don't know, man. I feel like we're getting, I feel like they're trying to dupe us, man. I feel like they're trying to play us as stupid as boxing fans. Like, you guys didn't get Terrence Crawford but Errol Spence, but watch us announce this. And how y'all gonna feel about this? That's how I be feeling, man. But I don't know. I'm still gonna talk my shit. I'm still gonna be like, yo, Ryan Garcia, you know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying, my guy, High Desert all day. Stand up. Like, can't say nothing negative, regardless of how people gonna hate, but I don't know, man. It's just so far away. April 15th. Why April 15th? The only thing I can think of, and I'm like, why not January 7th? You feel me? Like, why, if the fight were to happen, why not January 7th? Like, somebody answer that question for me. So I'm definitely at the 72% mark. All right, let's see. I'm hoping Boxing News 24 maybe can give us something a little different. We got an Oscar De La Hoya video too. Okay. We got some things to discuss here. So this is a lot more recent than the one I just read off of Boxing Scene. Boxing Scene, though, is much more credible than Boxing News 24. That's a fact. By the way, man, make sure if y'all come up in here, man, hit this, you know what I'm saying, hit that like button, show your boy some love, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Y'all go check out the Twitch too. Let me go check the Twitch. Let's see how the Twitch doing. Salute. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping shit on the Twitch too. Make sure y'all go check out the Twitch, Fluenceboxing. Yeah, I'm figuring out the Twitch, man. The Twitch be different. I feel old when I be saying that. I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna stop saying like that. All right, anyways. Okay. So it's coming from Boxing News 24, right? This is more recent, much more updated. as far as terms. And the boxing scene article was the boxing article, I believe, came out maybe about 3 to 4 hours ago. I believe the Boxing News 24 article, this one right here that I'm going to be reading for, came out maybe about 2 hours ago, an hour ago. So it's a lot more relevant. Guy has a lot more information. Obviously, you can see they have the updated date on it, April 15th, while Boxing Scene wasn't really sure whether or not the date was going to be early or later. But we definitely got a lot of good information from that. So let's go ahead and get into this Boxing News 24 article. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight will be taking place on April 15th on Showtime and DAZN pay-per-view. So that's an update in comparison to the Boxing Scene. Boxing Scene said it wasn't going to be a joint pay-per-view venture. Now it seems like it's going to be. So in Las Vegas, provided that there are no injuries sustained in Tank's tune-up match on January 7th in Washington, D.C. Mike Coppinger, another very credible source. Whenever Mike Coppinger usually reports something when it comes to boxing, it's usually happening. Is reporting the news of the April 15th date for the Davis-Ryan fight. But again, it'll come down to whether Gervonta makes it through his January 7th fight without suffering a cut or any type of injury that would take time to recover from. Gotta put the charger in real quick on my phone. But see, I'm like, look, Boxing News, whoever's writing this article, let me go back up. Let me see who's writing this article. Alan Fox. Alan Fox is on the same type of time I'm on, man. I'm like, if he's going to be taking a tune-up fight, I don't know who it's against. But at the end of the day, that's a risk. And it's not because I think Gervonta won't be able to win the fight. It's not because I think he's going to lose the fight. It's because anything can happen, man. You can get a cut. You can get an injury. You know what I'm saying? Have a bad weight cut. Whatever the case may be, man, there's a lot of factors that come into taking a tune-up fight. And then Ryan Garcia isn't. So I'm like, why does Gervonta Davis have to take this fight? I know he's fought, obviously for him, it would be a much longer delay in fights than Ryan Garcia, because Garcia's fought sooner, or his time frame from his last fight to April 15th, it wouldn't be as long as a delay as it would be for Davis to April 15th. So I understand that, but so there's a possibility that Ryan 23, would also take a tune-up fight as well. Remember, look, see, there it is. See, I be telling y'all, man. I be knowing this shit, man. It be in the motherfucking contracts. I be telling y'all, man. Y'all don't want to be listening to me. Y'all don't be believing me. Y'all be thinking I'm capping. I'll be thinking at this point, I'm like, man, why, man? I don't understand, man. I be telling y'all the truth. Y'all just gotta listen. Y'all don't be liking the truth, man. Y'all be thinking, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to hear none of that. Ryan Garcia will take a tune-up fight. Watch. So Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. What's up? Are you guys excited about the fight? Said Oscar De La Hoya via Fight Hub TV. It's going to be one of those fights that you want to miss for sure. I'm super excited. I literally want to bring the best fights, and that's what we do best. Ryan wanted this fight, and Tank wants this fight. We come to terms, and we bent over backwards, making everything happen, and make sure everyone's happy. All we need to do is sign on the dotted line. That's basically it. Oh, no. I just went from 72% to 65%. Why you just say that, Oscar? So I thought y'all already signed this shit. So y'all just got terms agreed to and contracts in place, but ain't nobody signed. That's crazy. At the beginning of this stream, I was at 77% sure that this fight was going to happen between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, right? Then as I continue to talk, as I continue to look at the information, I went to 72% sure that this fight was going to happen. Then I went a little bit more information. I said, okay, I'm at 68%. And then I just read a quote of Oscar De La Hoya saying, we've bent over backwards. We agreed to all the terms. We did so much to make this happen. Ryan Garcia wants to fight. Gervonta wants to fight. We want to fight. They want to fight. We're good. We've agreed. All the negotiation is done. All we need to do is put the pen to paper. All that's left is to sign. So they have not yet signed anything. They have just agreed to terms. Now, of course, in boxing, agreeing to terms is a very big deal, and usually right after comes a signature. But once again, I just went from 68 to 65% that this fight's going to happen because of the date, April 15th. They're both going to take tune-up fights, guys. And don't act like that's not going to be the case. They're both going to take tune-up fights. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this. It's coming from Mike Coppinger. Even though, once again, I salute it. I love a credible source, but Oscar De La Hoya already said ain't nobody signed nothing. They just agreed to terms. The date for Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is April 15th. Sources tell ESPN. Of course, Gervonta must first emerge victorious and uninjured from a January 7th tune-up. Garcia might take a tune-up in January as well. He will, obviously. The fighters both said the fight will take place in Las Vegas. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis have announced they will meet up in a super fight in Las Vegas next year. Sources tell ESPN the 136-pound catchweight bout 136-pound catchweight bout is slated for April, and at Showtime and DAZN will jointly deliver the pay-per-view. Massive win for boxing Gervonta Garcia, and as we all see, it is all going to be predicated on Gervonta winning his January 7th tune-up. Garcia is probably going to have a tune-up in January as well. Both of them coming out unfazed, uninjured, well to go, good to go, feeling beautiful, ready. So that is a lot on the line, but I'm still very skeptical because Oscar De La Hoya said himself, no one has signed anything. They have agreed to terms. Next up, what's next up? I'm gonna pull up that video. I'm a little scared though because I know it's gonna be choppy, but I want to pull up that video of Oscar De La Hoya speaking on that, even if it's gonna be that short segment. But as you guys know, I went from 77% sure this fight's gonna happen to 72% to 68%. Now I'm at a measly 64% that this fight is going to happen. Seems like everybody wants it to happen, but there's so many obstacles in place and there's so much time in between that they'll probably be like, oh, well, we tried. We did everything we could. So that's all. The rest of what the article was what De La Hoya was talking about in that particular video. Obviously, that's something that I want to pull up. So let me do that. Salute to the people, man. Salute to everybody. If y'all come up in here, show some love, man. Hit the like button if y'all ain't hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. Notification gang, all that good stuff. But let's go ahead. I want to pull up this Fight Hub interview. Supposedly Oscar De La Hoya saying, hey, yo, the fight is done. Because you know your boy is always going to be skeptical. He said no one signed the paper, but they've agreed to terms, which is definitely a big deal. But that still doesn't sound right to me. So it's okay. I like it. This is going to be a short little video. So we're going to be able to watch this through the entirety. There you go. Salute to the people, by the way, man. Happy, what's it? Is it Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. Happy Thursday to the people, man. Make sure y'all go check out, I'm back doing the thing when it comes to dropping the videos on other boxing news. Don't worry, man. I was gone. I was on a hiatus for a week, but I'm coming back strong. Got a lot of new things coming for the channel. So you already know, man. Stay tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Keep showing some love, man, because I got a lot of things in store. So make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all go look out at the Twitch too, man. I got a lot of things for the Twitch that's gonna be going crazy too. Fluencetv. If y'all don't know, man. Happy Thursday to the people. Blessings. But okay, I'm gonna pull this up right here. This is gonna be basically Oscar De La Hoya's first response to supposedly both sides agreeing to terms. Obviously, we don't have a contract a contract signed, but we do have a contract present where both sides are okay with everything that's presented on it, and all we that have left is, you know, for them to go ahead and sign that thing. So let's pull that up. Yeah, see.
Versus 10
Hold on, I'm gonna run that back real quick. My bad, y'all. told y'all bear with me. We got Let's Talk About It in the building. What's good with it? Let's talk about it. I'm about to go ahead and play this and react to the Oscar De La Hoya basically his first response to supposedly Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis being official. I'm still skeptical, like I said, 68%, but I'm going to try and play this. Hopefully we don't got no hiccups. This is going to be the only video tonight, so we don't have too many problems. And we're getting close to that time, y'all. Close to that time. I'll be dropping the link, so.
Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis. What's up? Are you guys excited for the fight? Yeah, it's gonna be one of those fights where you don't want to miss, that's for sure. Good to see you, brother. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Pebble, what's up? Yeah, super excited, man. I mean, look, Golden Boy, myself, I'm literally, I want to bring like the best fights to you. That's it, you know. And that's what we do best, you know. Basically, Ryan wanted this fight. Tank wants this fight, so we've come to terms, and we bent over backwards. Making everything happen and making sure that everybody's happy. All we need to do is sign on the dotted line. That's basically it. So I'm happy that that DAZN and Showtime are gonna work together and to bring you guys this this special fight. You know, and let's talk about what or who is going to win. You think? I mean, I have to go with Ryan, obviously, because he's my golden boy fighter. But not only that, I think that Ryan has the speed, the power, the intellect, the ring generalship. He has that height. He has, you know, the quick twitch. Movements, you know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. It's one of those fights where whoever makes the first mistake is going to get caught and possibly get knocked out. So this is why you don't want to miss this fight. So we'll see. You know, I mean, it's and I do want to touch on Crawford and Spence as well. I mean, look, these are complicated negotiations, and nothing's easy, especially when you're representing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, these negotiations are not what they seem to a lot of the experts out there. You know, I think a lot of people think they're all experts, but it's not easy.
It's a fact.
But anyway. We're close. We're just waiting for the contracts to be signed. That's basically it. Both fighters want it. We all agreed on everything. And like I said, we are extremely proud. Extremely proud to bring you this big fight.
High Desert, stand up.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. So what do you guys take away from that little PSA announcement right there from Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy? It was interesting a little bit, huh? Like he looked excited for the fight. He looked happy. But, you know, he did say twice. He reiterated himself, which is interesting. In the sense of the contracts not being signed, basically saying all we have left is to get it signed on the dotted line. He didn't say it one time, he said it twice. Almost like he was like making a point. So once again, like I said, in the beginning of the stream, I was at 77%. I said 77% chance this fight is going to happen April 15th. I can't wait. I named the 3 reasons why I said I wasn't above 77%. Obviously, as I continue to talk about this more, we dug into the articles. I went down to 72%. All of a sudden, Oscar De La Hoya said the contract's not signed and went to 68%. Now I watched this video and Oscar De La Hoya, he wasn't as excited I would have liked him to be. Maybe a little disappointed. Maybe DAZN had to give up, and Golden Boy Promotions maybe had to give up a little bit too much leeway where they're not happy about that. But it just almost seems like, in my sense, what I think, and I'm speculating, none of this is true at all, just from what I'm seeing from my vision point, is that DAZN, Golden Boy Promotions, they basically, Showtime, Al Heyman, PBC, Leonard Ellaby, whoever's doing the TMT, whoever's doing the negotiations on that side, they won. And they're like, damn, this is really what it's like dealing with them. And I think they're upset, or not necessarily upset, but they're like, man, we've basically agreed to all the terms, or we've agreed to terms we never thought we'd agree to, and we still don't have pen to paper. And that's something that I see as a reoccurring theme when it comes to dealing with anyone really associated with Al Heyman, respectfully. It's the same thing with the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, what Terrence Crawford was talking about, where Terrence Crawford basically agreed to terms that he would have never thought to agree to before, just to get the fight to happen. And even when it got to the point of that, for some reason, it was almost like, well, why don't we have signed paperwork? It's like, you still asking for more. It's like, come on, bro. So I see it in the same situation. So it's like, as much as I want to be excited about this fight, everything we've listened to, everything I've read is showing there's going to be a tune-up fight. Obviously, is in place January 7th for Gervonta Davis. We don't know who it's going to be. The opponent's yet to be announced, but we probably will end up finding that out sometime in December. They're saying Ryan Garcia is probably going to have a tune-up fight himself. It's going to be in January as well. Who against, we will see. But with all that being the case, I'm just skeptical for some reason. Something in my mind, something in my soul. I'm just skeptical whether or not this fight is actually going to happen. Let's talk about it. Said, I think they will fight. I also think that De La Hoya is a little nervous for Garcia. See, I respect that. I do respect the fact that you are saying, obviously that they are going to fight. Like, I don't have nothing against that. What I will argue to an extent is, I don't think De La Hoya is nervous for Garcia at all. Excuse me. I just don't. Like De La Hoya has a joint venture with DAZN. So De La Hoya, one, he's not the face of he's not the guy who's taking losses from Golden Boy Promotions. He's the face of Golden Boy Promotions, right? So with that being the case, he doesn't take any L's, whether or not the people he wants to be at top makes it to the top, or the people who, he doesn't want to make it to the top makes it to the top, or doesn't, whatever the case. He doesn't take, he's the face of Golden Boy Promotion. He's the figurehead. So I don't think there's that much, feelings invested when it comes to Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia. I do think he personally believes like Ryan Garcia could win. I do believe that. That's my personal opinion. The same way I feel the same way. By the way, we 48 minutes into this thing. You already know. I'm dropping the link. Anybody who wants to hop up in here, got anything to say, go ahead, do your thing. A lot of y'all quiet though, man. Y'all come up in here, y'all don't even get a chat. Appreciate it. Let's talk about it. Talking that shit. If you listen to him in the beginning, he started talking about Garcia is fast, has some pop in the sequence. You seem nervous for Garcia's body. Well, if you want me to be 100 with you, the reason why I don't think Oscar De La Hoya is necessarily nervous for Ryan Garcia is because I've heard Oscar De La Hoya compliment Gervonta Davis multiple occasions. I think deep down, Oscar De La Hoya does believe Gervonta Davis is the better fighter. I do believe he thinks that. And I really don't, as much as I respect Oscar De La Hoya as a fighter, he doesn't seem like someone who's loyal. He seems like a snake to me. Why do you think Canelo got away from him? Ryan Garcia already showed a little sense where he wanted to get away at some point. So I don't see Oscar De La Hoya being loyal to Ryan Garcia other than the fact that he represents him, and he basically put Ryan Garcia on the map to an extent. But I'm like, I played a video, I think a couple of days ago that I was watching, and Eddie Hearn was talking about trying to make this fight happen. Yeah, I remember, because I was talking about how hard Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence was supposed to make, and Eddie Hearn, had some words for the particular fight to happen, or why it's not happened. happening, excuse me. And I remember him discussing Ryan Garcia versus Tank Davis being a difficult fight, basically because broadcasting rights, and when you're dealing with PBC or Al Heyman or Steven Espinoza and Showtime, he said specifically, uh, they just want the pay-per-views, and he's like, why not allow it? Why can't we broadcast it on the zone, and then you guys can broadcast it on Showtime, but you guys keep the pay-per-view, etc. So, but my point is, in that sequence, Eddie Hearn talked about Ryan Garcia, and he said, I understand, they don't want to take a risk for Gervonta Davis because they basically built him up and they made him the superstar he is. The Zone built up Ryan Garcia and made him who they are. That's what Eddie Hearn said. He basically said they were the ones who built up Ryan Garcia. And I know Golden Boy was like, wait, what the fuck? But you have to remember how interesting it's like in business. Keep your enemies closer. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. Oscar De La Hoya got snaked by the Zone, and they took Canelo right from under his feet. Yeah. It's interesting that Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. Remember, once again, Oscar De La Hoya isn't making the business decisions. He's the figurehead. So I just say him because that's what they associate Golden Boy Promotions with. He's not the one making the business decisions. So let's just say Golden Boy Promotions, they went back in business with the Zone to try and get the biggest fights for Ryan Garcia, which now we see already Eddie Hearn talking in a sense of like, oh, well, Ryan Garcia is our fighter. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes from here. I'm very interested. That's why I'm very skeptical of this fight happening, because I think there's promotional companies that have more to lose than actual fighters in this sense. Which is a ridiculous risk to take. A ridiculous risk. This fight is more of a risk, in my personal opinion, than Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence. So that's why I'm saying I'm at the percentage I'm at, 62%. And it might be dropping even more because I'm like, why should this fight happen right now? Who benefits from this? Devin Haney is about to fight Lomachenko, right? Okay. Teofimo Lopez is now fighting Sander Martin, instead of Pedraza. Regis Prograis fighting Zepeda next weekend. Supposedly, the winner of those two fighters are going to be fighting each other. So we have a possibility of Teofimo Lopez versus Regis Prograis. Ryan Garcia said he moved up to 140 permanently. Why not wait around for that fight, Ryan Garcia? Now all of a sudden you've been wanting the Gervonta Davis fight, but you're willing to do a catch weight at 136? How was that even a catch weight? It's 1 pound over 135. Is that a catch weight? The fuck? Like, this doesn't make, like, when you really look at the details and really look at who, I'm saying, who benefits from this, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. The only person who can really benefit from this is no one. You make some quick money. It seems like a big fight, but in reality, it doesn't move forward Ryan Garcia's career. It doesn't move forward Gervonta Davis's career, because both of their careers are in such a limbo. Not in the sense of them winning, but in the sense of what are you trying to accomplish? The only person who is clear-cut, trying to accomplish something out of all these young guns we talk about as of right now is Devin Haney. I want to be undisputed at 135. Then I want to fight Loma. When you look at Gervonta, it's like, what are you really trying to accomplish here, other than, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. When you look at Ryan Garcia, what are you really trying to accomplish here, other than I'm not really sure? But there's a shortcut if you make a Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight, right? That's a shortcut to look at this amazing spectacle. We all need to talk about it. Ooh. And it's almost like in my personal opinion, it's just like it's a false sense of we're getting a big fight, but in reality, that's not what the case is. This isn't a big fight. It's for the moment, it is a big fight, but in the longevity of things, we're going to look back and we're going to say, why did this fight take place? We're going to say, we don't understand. It did nothing for nobody. Who benefits from this other than the fans? And that matters. The fans matter. But just remember this, people. April 15th is such a long way away. Is it too good to be true? That's just how I see it. I'm just like, April 15th is such a long way away. We're talking about something that's nowhere near the current date that we right now we're talking about it. It's nowhere near. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this this video coming from Fight Hype now. We heard what old Oscar De La Hoya had to say. Let's go ahead and look at some of these posts supposedly confirming this fight to be a done deal. In my personal opinion, it's kind of like a contradiction to a lot of the things, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. Hold up, I'm about to kill something real quick. Gotta have them quick reflexes, man. Them spiders is crazy. Them joints be poisonous and shit. All right, so you already know, man. I've laid out details, man, when it comes to this whole entire situation, right? I gave you guys the reasoning why I was 77% on this fight actually happened. After doing my research, 56 minutes into this video, I'm now currently at 61% sure this fight is going to happen. One of the biggest reasons why I dropped my percentage so low is because Oscar De La Hoya himself said it verbatim via live. Hey, guys, we've agreed to everything. You know what I'm saying? It was a tough negotiation time. You know what I'm saying? We had to take a lot of L's when it came to this, but at the end of the day, we've agreed to terms. So you guys know, agreed to terms does not mean the fight's happening. So I dropped to 61% because of that. And then also he's like, oh, you just dropped to 51% because he said they agreed to terms. That's a big deal. He also said, all that's left, guys, is that we need to get this. We just have to have signatures. We have to get, the dotted line signed. So wait, hold on. And then he said it twice. He reiterated. It was like, all we have left is we got to get the contract signed. So supposedly y'all have agreed to terms, but no one's actually signed a contract. So as hopeful, as excited as in fairy tale land I was in the beginning of this stream, where I was like, "This, I can't wait to talk about this, and we could have breaking news in boxing finally." This da 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 da. I'm now at the point where I'm like, man, boxing ain't changed, right? But don't let me dampen you guys' mood. Let's go ahead and play this video. How about that? Let's play this video. Oh, beautiful. Let's play this video, and I'll be right back. Hold on, just reload so you guys can see it. Give it a little second. All right, let's get it. My bad, y'all. I know that shit was on the low side of the quality game. Yeah, I was like, man, I gotta get up out of here, man. Why your quality so low? And now y'all gonna hate me for this because I'm gonna run it back through one more time so I can watch it myself since I missed it. So it is what it is. Make sure if y'all come over here, hit the like button or dislike, whatever it is. How y'all feeling? Get into the chat, say what you want to say. I got the stream yard up in here. We an hour up in, you know what I'm saying? Feeling good, feeling great. 10:51 on my side. It's almost the weekend. If it was the weekend, we probably go crazy for the late night side of the game. I don't know how much longer we'll go, but either way, I'm gonna replay this because I'm gonna watch it myself. So let's do it. I'll be back in the ring. Stay tuned for more deals after that. It's me and sign, seal, deliver, done, deal. Ron Garcia said, I'm so pumped. This fight is finally in place. I want it more than anything right now. I put in the work. I'm at my motherfucking prime. And you're not at your prime, Ron Garcia. You young, bro. Your prime is still like 3-4 years away, bro. But of my career, I'm not going to be the biggest boxer in the world. The legacy starts. Ron Garcia in his prime is lying. You're not in your prime yet, bro. You're 24 years old, bro. You got 4 years to your prime. Boxing needs this fight right now. It's time for us to get back to what made this sport so great for the fans. Glamorous fights in places like Las Vegas, rare matches, storylines, and most important, best fighting the best. High desert, stand up. You heard? I love connecting with new young fans and know that I can bring a new generation in the most beautiful sport in the world. It's time to get to work and show everyone what boxing is all about. Done deal. It's on. All credit to Tank and Ryan. Lots of obstacles along the way, but they both saved the course to give the fans the fight they want. It's crazy they saying all that, but they ain't signed nothing. You know what I mean? No sense. They acting like this fight finna happen in January. You know what I'm saying? They're crazy. So how y'all feel about that, man? Let's talk about it. Says sound just like Rolly. Well, I'll say this, man. Look, real quick. That's disrespectful to my guy Ryan Garcia. I'm from the desert too, so Ryan Garcia would knock out Rolly if they fought. And if you think otherwise, you crazy. Like let's be real. Ryan Garcia is a high level fighter. Now, me personally, do I feel like there's a possibility that he might be a little bit too young for Gervonta Davis? Yeah. But at the same time, I'm gonna rock with my guy because Garcia definitely has all the athletic attributes to beat Gervonta. Unfortunately, some of those athletic attributes will also probably be his downfall because he doesn't necessarily know how to use it correctly. One of the things that's probably going to be something that he's going to have to focus on is definitely standing way too tall. Gervonta Davis will eat that body up. He's too smart of a fighter. He's too smart of a boxer. So, you know what I'm saying? If Luke was able to handle, land, a big shot, Gervonta will definitely be it. But like I said, man, do I think this fight is going to happen? I was 77% all the way in. I was like, man, this fight's going to be crazy. I can't wait for it. But, you know what I'm saying, the more, I read up on it, the more I see the reactions, the more, especially from Oscar De La Hoya saying they don't got nothing signed. All those different type of, all the different type of rhetoric, being put out there. It's like, for me, I'm like, man, I don't know how confident I can be in this really happening and being, taking place, as much as I'm excited for this fight. But it's like, we're talking about a fight that's going to happen April 15th. That's going to happen, that's a long time from now. That's nowhere near close, nothing. So it's interesting to me. I don't really know how I could feel about it. All I know is that the possibility of the fight actually happened. I was definitely, going crazy for it. I definitely was excited for it. But it's like when you really just read the details, check the details, it's like, well, should we really be excited for it? Or are we just getting duped as boxing fans again? Because they'll do that. By the way, make sure y'all, if y'all come up in here, man, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're not part of the family, subscribe to the channel. We going crazy, man. We back to it. I'm dropping content like crazy. No games, no need to be. I'm dropping content like crazy. So, I'm saying, make sure y'all show some love, man. Make sure y'all show some love for the work ethic. I appreciate y'all. I'm saying? I do this for y'all. Let's talk about it. Said I like Ryan Garcia, but wasn't really talking the same thing. You couldn't wait for this fight. He wants this fight. He had a pretty good showing for the first couple rounds. Yes, you're correct. Rolly was talking the same thing. Ryan Garcia definitely doesn't talk in the same aspect of Rolly. Rolly's a lot more disrespectful. Ryan Garcia, all Ryan Garcia, he's never said anything disrespectful. All Ryan Garcia has said this entire time is that he wants to fight. Now, the biggest discrepancy between Ryan Garcia's Rolly and Rolly Romero is that Ryan Garcia is a better boxer. He's taller. He has more power. Like, come on, he's fought better opposition, destroyed better opposition. Like, Rolly's not even on Ryan Garcia's level. Like, cool, we can talk about people talking, but if you want to talk about skill level, Ryan Garcia's levels above Rolly. So I can't even, like, for me, I can never even fathom even saying something like that because that's mad disrespectful to the High Desert brother. You know what I'm saying? High Desert stand up. I'm always going to stand for where I'm from. But, like, that's crazy to me because I'm like, Ryan Garcia, his competition level has been better. His wins have been better. He's more impressive when you just watch. Like, there's sparring around. Like, Ryan Garcia and Rolly have sparred plenty of times. Y'all can see that on the internet. They fought in amateurs. Ryan Garcia handled him plenty. So I'm like, that comparison is crazy. And Ryan Garcia is respectful when it comes to it. So I'm like, look, the only thing that I see as a problem and it's going to be a big problem comes down to the fact that we're talking about a very young Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is talking about in those tweets, like, I'm in my prime. This fight needs to happen. I'm like, Garcia, you're not in your prime. You're 24 years old, bro. You got like 4 or 5 years before you're in your prime, dog. I'm like Gervonta is in his prime right now. Gervonta is 28. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Gervonta is, you know what I'm saying, it's a smart move. But like I said, whether or not this fight is going to happen, it's all going to, come down to the fact that everything aligning and being perfect. I'm not as confident of this fight happening than I was before. I'm kind of seeing like Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence vibes, where it's like they're putting something in the atmosphere because they know this is something that boxing fans want, and it keeps these fighters relevant, and it keeps us being intrigued in fights that we don't want to watch because we have expectations of, oh, they just got to fight this fight, and then after we get the big fight. But in reality, it's like that's probably not even the case. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like they fishing out here, man. They got the bait on the hook and they throw that thing out. Y'all catch it, they reel it in, they let you loose a little bit, think you good. They reel you in, they let you loose a little bit, think you good, reel you back in until they got you on the motherfucking boat and they chopping you up, they eating you up and they putting you in, you know what I'm saying, in a fish sandwich. You feel me? Let's talk about it. Say I do feel like Garcia has a better skill set. It would be a better fight. I think Tank has been in more wars. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, the biggest discrepancy when it comes to this fight is the fact that someone is in Ryan Garcia's ear saying, "No, you're in your prime right now. You can beat Tank," rather than being like, "No, you young, bro." But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure because you can see this young boy and 23-year-old Devin Haney out here just dominating and doing things he ain't supposed to be doing. So there's a lot of pressure now coming down. I don't think Gervonta cares. Like, Gervonta don't strike me as a dude who gives a fuck. Garcia does. And I'm like, that might be, in fact, that he don't have the right people in his ear to say, like, you really shouldn't. Like, don't be trying to be doing what Devin's doing. Supposedly Shakira Stevenson versus Pitbull, Isaac Cruz, Issa Cruz was ordered. Will the fight happen? I don't know. People talking about that like, oh my God, Shakur Stevenson is fighting Issa Cruz. I'm like, nigga, how many times have we seen, the WBO, WBC, WBA, W with a AB, IBF, OBF? I don't give a fuck what you call it, order, any type of fight. It all comes down if the fighter wants to fight, or if his team wants to make that deal, if the money's right, if it makes sense. I should be like, man, that's like I be sometimes my mind be blown. I'm like, man, do people really be falling for this bullshit still? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all really, like, do people really be falling for this cap shit when people be talking about stuff? Like, do y'all really think they be knowing and having an inside scoop and really be on some shit? No. I'm like, think for yourself, people. I'm like, all this shit be mad obvious. It be right in front of your face. But people be trying to switch shit up. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis, there's a strong likelihood they just doing this so they can boost their next fights. I'm like, if I give respect to anybody right now, one of the biggest people that I think I want to give respect right now in boxing and doesn't get talked about enough, nobody wants to say nothing about it, is Jermell Charlo. Jermell, man, has been on a tear, man. I remember, man, when I was back in a one-bedroom apartment, like for real, man, like he was taking on Tony Harrison, took an L, came back, fought him again, like even up to this point, even though Rosario hasn't showed to be the best, but I'm like, lost to Castano first time, beat him the second time. Now he finna fight Tim Tszyu. Like, Jermell is like the only dude right here. Him and Devin Haney right now in my generation, them two is going crazy, right? Heavyweights is different. Like heavyweights, we've been spoiled with heavyweights. Like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder trilogy, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Usyk, AJ2, crazy. Both fights. Usyk, Andy Ruiz, both fights, crazy. Luis Ortiz versus Wilder, both fights. Like heavyweight is different. That's a whole different thing when it comes to boxing. But everything else, I'm like, if you want to talk about who's really doing it for my generation right now, Devin Haney, not really my generation. So, but he really showing out. And Jermell, man, Jermell really showing out. So I got to give respect to both of them. Let's talk about it. It says, see, I think Garcia is actually in his prime 24, 25 because most boxers are the downside when they're about 33. So Tank is on the back half of his career at 28. See, that's interesting. I see it a little bit differently. I don't think I think you judge, especially when it comes to boxing and combat, in the sense of damage taken. So Garcia, since he hasn't taken a lot of damage, he hasn't necessarily fought a whole lot when it comes to those 22 to about 25 years age. At least that's how it's seeming. I usually look at the prime, just period in life. Like I don't even look at it for sports. I'm like, prime for most men is going to be between that 27 probably to about that 32 age. Like that's the prime for most men. Now, if you want to put it to boxing, obviously it's older when it comes to heavyweights because obviously the skill set isn't as high. It's younger, the lighter the weight is. So I can understand why you think the prime when it comes to a weight class of Garcia's is 24 to 25. For me personally, you also have to, like, I'm thinking about the development in the brain. So I'm like, you're not going to really understand things to a whole nother level until everything is developed to it. So I'm like, I still believe 27 to about like 31 is that prime level when it comes to that 135 division, 140 division, 147 division. I think even if you take care of your body, you can be up to 33 years old. I'm like, even if we talk about like Jamal Charlo, like these guys are in their 30s. Canelo, he's 33. Like a lot of the prime, like Demetrius Andrade, I think the prime in a lot of boxers, if you take care of yourself and you know how to hit and not get hit, I think the prime is a lot later. That's my personal opinion. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. Let's talk about it. Excuse me. Like definitely. So let me ask you this then. If you think that is the case, do you think there's an advantage going into this fight if the fight ends up happening being more so for Ryan Garcia, or do you think the advantage is more so for Gervonta Davis? Because basically what you're saying is that you have a prime Garcia. And see, no. I'm not gonna let you get away with that because I'm like, you're kind of making this because you're trying to stack up the deck against Gervonta. I don't know, I might be talking, but I'm like, but you're basically saying Garcia's coming in as prime while Gervonta is on the back end. So you're basically saying Garcia should beat Gervonta? I don't know. How should I interpret that? Because I definitely don't agree with that if that's what you're saying. By the way, if y'all up in here, man, come on, man. Show some love. Hit the like button. But I don't know what talking about right there, man. coming heavy. But nah, for real though. Look, at the end of the day, let's say in like a fantasy world and an imaginary world, I'm just gonna say, okay, this fight is going to happen. They're both gonna have a tune-up fight, probably gonna happen in January. They're both gonna win the fight. They're both gonna do it in impressive fashion. There's not gonna be any injuries. They're gonna be ready to go by April 15th because that's what everybody's shooting for. That's what everybody's projecting. That's what everybody's guessing. Who wins this fight? Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis. Well, as always, man, I'm gonna rock with High Desert all day. I got lightning outside, god dang. But I'm gonna rock with Ryan Garcia, High Desert all day. You know what I'm saying? But if this fight does end up happening, I do want to make this prediction. It's not even going to be a prediction about who wins the fight. I want to make the prediction that if this fight actually ends up happening, we're going to see Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence next year. That's what this means. If this fight actually ends up taking place, we're going to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford next year. I promise. Let's talk about, say, I want my brother Tank all day, but I respect Garcia and everything he does. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think Ryan Garcia is going to surprise a lot of people. Because I think there's a lot of people, especially boxing fans, who don't really have a lot of respect for Ryan Garcia. But I think just off the back of him taking this fight, we have to give Ryan Garcia respect. You know, all this time we've been talking about, remember that's the point, like he was ducking everybody. He said he was going to fight this guy and that guy. He's been ducking. And now he's literally about to fight, you know, what a lot of people say is the boogeyman of the division. Everyone says got the most power, the most skill, the next best thing. Floyd's prodigy, this, that, and that, and this. And here we are. So for any like crazy reason this fight doesn't happen, where's the blame going to be put on? You know what I'm saying? What y'all going to say? Is y'all going to try and say, okay, this is what Ryan Garcia wanted this entire time. We knew it from day one. Had the excuses, all types of things. Or is y'all going to be like, okay, he wanted to fight, but something happened. Like I said, like I'm not gonna be over here trying to be floating on cloud nine. I'm not gonna be the guy over here trying to say, okay, this fight's definitely a done deal, because we heard from Oscar himself. He said no one signed the paperwork. He said they agreed to terms. But he said we still need the signature. We still need someone to write down, yo, this is what we agreeing to on terms. This is what we okay with. So like I'm like, if that's not the case, if we don't have someone signing down, writing down like, yo, look, then why should we have any confidence in this particular fight actually, you know, happen in the way that they let me say this. Let me rephrase that. How can we have any confidence in this fight taking place on April 15th, like they're reporting supposedly? How can you report something when no one signed a contract? We're talking about a contract. We're talking about a whole entire business based off of, I write this down, you write this down, we agree to this, and then we both have to sign. No one signed. So how are we talking about this fight taking place on a specific date? Does that make any sense? Does it? You tell me. You might be right. You might be like, well, that does make sense. That's how it goes. That's how you're supposed to construct everything. Or are we just being fooled? A lot of people slandered Ryan Garcia. I'm gonna go into I was gonna say the word wrong. Anyways, a lot of people slandered Ryan Garcia. A lot of people had a lot of things to say when it came to Ryan Garcia. A lot of people tried to put Ryan Garcia into a box. A lot of people tried to say he wasn't serious about boxing. A lot of people said He called out fake fights. A lot of people said he wasn't the real deal. A lot of people remember he had to fall out with Canelo, and everyone said it was his fault with the fall with Canelo. People want to count Ryan Garcia out, but when you talk about controversy, when you talk about overcoming odds, who is overcome more than Ryan Garcia? Not Tank. You just in the back and forth with Floyd. You trying to say that you ain't even signed to him, but for some reason y'all still. Why is this fight on the Showtime? The bias. People wanting to stick up for certain things and not want to pay attention and look at the details. It doesn't make any sense to me. I have nothing but respect for Ryan Garcia, and I'll be the first one to say, okay, yeah, all right, I'm being biased. I'm being favoritism because he's from where I'm from. But if you want to put things into perspective, think about what he's went through when he's still right here, willing to take on Gervonta Davis. Think about what people labeled him as. People think about the disrespect he's taken. He's undefeated. He's beaten everyone he's fought, and still people have so much to say about him. What do you think people are going to say now? Do you think they still have negativity? If this fight doesn't happen, who do you think they're going to place the blame on? Even though people don't pay attention, I've already played the clip. I played the clip with Oscar De La Hoya. He said we literally had to agree to. He almost sounded like Terrence Crawford in his clip when he was talking about the Errol Spence situation, saying like, I agreed to everything. I agreed to everything. I was okay with everything. Like, let's go ahead. Let's just make this fight happen. And for some reason, they still was like, no, that's not enough. And for some reason, even though I agreed to everything, we couldn't get anything signed. And it's like I almost hear the same thing coming from Oscar De La Hoya, even though he's not saying that specifically. Oscar's over here like, yeah, we agreed to everything, and I can't wait for this fight. How do you guys feel about this fight? But, oh, yeah, by the way, no one signed. We don't have any signatures. We don't have anybody agreeing to anything. Like, what? Are you sure? Yeah, no, I'm sure about that. That doesn't even make any sense. How can that be the case? How is nobody signed, but we're saying, yo, this fight is ready to go. It's happening. No more holding back. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy, man. It's like it's almost like I'm like slowly convincing myself that this fight isn't gonna happen. And then even within all that being the case, y'all all gonna still find a way to be like, oh, well, you know, Ryan Garcia didn't really want to fight Gervonta Davis, so it's all his fault. And you know that's what y'all gonna be on. You know that's the type of bullshit y'all steady be on. Y'all want to play favorites, all that type of shit. Let's talk about it. Said Crawford did say that Spence do want to make the fight, but it's just the people around him. Of course, Spence wants to make the fight. The fighter always wants to fight. By the way, make sure I hit the like button. If y'all coming up in here, man, y'all hit the like button. Come on, man. Help your boy out. I need the like button hit. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Be part of the family. But, of course, the fighters want the fight to happen. But I'm like, this is very reminiscent of what Crawford was saying in that interview. I did a whole, live on that joint. He's saying like, look, I agreed to all the terms. I just asked for one thing, and then all of a sudden there's no signatures to contracts, nothing. I'm like, what do we have to do to make this work? And like, I hear the same thing coming from Oscar De La Hoya. It's like the same rhetoric. So De La Hoya can't wait for the fight. To me, it sounds like no one signed a contract, Garcia or Tank. No, they haven't. No, he said that. Oscar De La Hoya, he said that. He said they have agreed to terms. All we have left is, we got to get the contract signed. And he said that twice. He reiterated his point. So I'm like, in my head, what I'm thinking is like, all right, how do we have a set date? We talking about this fight is official. We talking about this is what is taking place. You know what I'm saying? We good to go, all these different type of things. But at the end of the day, we don't have no signatures to paper. I'm like, that makes no sense. We're in a business where that's all that matters is we're signing contracts. That's it. But we don't have one. It's like we jumping beforehand. Like that doesn't make no sense to me. I'm like, it's like they trying to. It's like, are they playing us boxing fans as a fool? Is that what they're doing? Because that's how it seems. They're playing us as a fool. Because what certainty can we take? What certainty can we get? How can we say, okay, yo, this is something that's really taking place and happening, and we can move forward with and really believe? I don't know. Whole lot of bullshit. And it's like it's right in front of our eyes, and we're gonna all blame it on Ryan Garcia. We're gonna all blame it on Terrence Crawford. People are gonna say, I don't understand why Terrence Crawford went and took that big bat from BLK. I don't understand why Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis isn't happening. And even though everyone is saying that it's official when it's taking place, but if you listen to Oscar De La Hoya, he said that no one signed on the dotted line, even though no one wants to pay attention. April 15th, guys. Do you guys know how far away April 15th? Like April 15th is close, but April 15th in boxing terms is not close. They're both taking tune-up fights in January. You really think this fight's gonna happen? Two guys taking tune-up fights in January and supposed to fight in April 15th? Come on now. Don't play dumb. There's no need to. But all right, look, I can go on forever on this joint. But I had a good time. I just want to say, first and foremost, I appreciate everybody up out here. Everybody who came up in here, man. Make sure I hit the like button. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the family. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Friday. Y'all already know what it is. And we got Saturday, Fluence Lounge. Not the greatest fights, but we're going to be here regardless. I'm going to keep dropping stuff. Like, I got y'all, man. Y'all already know, man. We turn it up. We apping it up. I would stay on all night. Y'all already know what it is. But you know what I'm saying? It's getting a little on the late side. So I would appreciate y'all. And I would stay late. You know, I appreciate Let's Talk About It, man. He was getting up in the chat. He was doing some great questions. Y'all seen, I dropped the link. Nobody hopped up in here. If y'all would have hopped up in here on the link, I'd have went later. But, man, y'all on some bullshit tonight. Y'all just trying to hop up in here. You ain't saying nothing. So, like the video. Show some love. Like that joint. That's joint right there. Like it. Subscribe to the channel. You feel me? If you're not part of the family, much love to the people notification gang. I'm going to be back tomorrow. You know what time it is. Your boy Fluence. I appreciate everybody. Enjoy your night. Happy Thursday to the people. Much love. I'm out. On Schwarzenegger side of the game. I'll be back, but with more boxing. Stay blessed, not stressed. Much love. I'm out.